So for proof of work, what your miner has to do to win is essentially guess um, an input to produce a certain SHA output. So essentially, in order for you to validate a transaction, I need you to give me a SHA input where the output is where the output starts with 7 zeros. So it has to start with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then it can be gibberish. And that's how it works. So that's what miners are fighting for. They're basically, because SHA is so random, it's impossible to guess which inputs will give you an output with 7 zeros. And the only option to solve this problem is by literal brute force. You have to hash, like you go, okay, what's the hash of number 53? Oh, it's not 7 zeros. Okay, what's the hash of 54? It's not 7 zeros. And you have to do that. You have to keep doing that until you finally hit an input that gives you 7 zeros in the output. And then you basically show Ethereum like, hey, this input generates 7 zeros. I'm the first one. And it's incredibly easy to verify because just the network just has to be like, oh, let me see if you're correct. And it takes your input. Oh, you're correct. It is 7 zeros, and you get the reward. And then the next transaction happens, and then you do it all over again. And all these miners, and you can't use this the same input obviously because there's also different like nonces and different things that miners do. And as time goes on, as there are more miners, you have to make this problem more complicated because as the computing power grows, there will be more miners to solve the problems, and Ethereum doesn't want too many blocks to be mined at one time. So it increases the difficulty of these puzzles, of these problems. And the way it does it is by increasing the number of leading zeros, or like the leading number. I think it's either ones or zeros, but it's saying like, oh, previously you needed 7 zeros, but we need to bump up the difficulty. So now to win this problem, you need to generate an output with 8 zeros, and then 9 zeros, and then 10 zeros. And the more zeros you have, or the more leading digits you need to solve for, the difficulty increases exponentially. And this is exactly how Bitcoin works as well.